Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives, Poetry, History, Thought for the Day, all in my one book. And on this day in 1881, the painter Pablo Picasso was born in Málaga, Spain. The son of a Spanish art teacher, he lived in Spain for a while and then in France, and for a short time in London, where he was working for Diaghilev's Russian ballet in 1919, designing sets and costumes for them. During that time, he had clothes made by an English tailor. He walked around dressed as an Englishman with a bowler hat. There's a famous photograph of him like that. Well, it was said that Picasso changed his women as often as he changed his painting styles. He had a not very good reputation of dealing with women. One of his mistresses, Dora Maar, said of him, "As an artist, you are extraordinary, but morally speaking, you are worthless." He was so multi-talented that one woman wrote to him, "If I hear that you say Mass too, I shall not be surprised." Well, Pablo Picasso wrote poetry as well, and there's a famous story of a poetry reading he gave at the apartment in Paris of one of his patrons, Gertrude Stein. His poetry was not very good, and he gave this poetry reading, and at the end there was a hushed silence, and then Gertrude Stein spoke up and said quietly, "Pablo, go home and paint." Well, that sums it up, really. I'm not going to read one of his poems. I'm going to read a poem by Herman Melville, the great writer and novelist who wrote Moby Dick, of course, the story of the great white whale. See what you think of this. It's called Art. In placid hours, well pleased, we dream of many a brave, unbodied scheme, but formed to lend, pulsed life create, what unlike things must meet and mate. A flame to melt, a wind to freeze, sad patience, joyous energies, humility, yet pride and scorn, instinct and study, love and hate, audacity, reverence, these must mate, and fuse with Jacob's mystic heart, to wrestle with the angel art. Today I pray that I may appreciate modern art, however much of a challenge that may be. Thanks for listening.